Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It's Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to make another video, and basically I've got so much to do because I need to work on my data science channel as well, which I'm not sure I'll be able to do it today because of my friend coming around. But we'll see how that goes. But what I wanted to make a video to say is that I am so glad that the Reform Party was voted out of the town that I live in. And basically, what happened was yesterday, one of my Facebook friends posted on Facebook, and he put in the voting for the town that I live in. And so there were 17 counselors in election. So I don't know if that was 17 total counselors or 17 counselors coming up for election, because I'm not that up on politics. I mean, my boyfriend would know better than me how many total counselors there are, but there were definitely 17 counselors coming up for election. So the Green Party got 3 new counselors, was an increase in 3 counselors. The Labour Party lost 3 counselors. The Conservative Party got 1 counselor, an increase in 1 counselor. The Independent Party got a decrease in 1 counselor. And he said Lib Dem, I think that there was not an increase or a decrease. And the Reform, there were no counselors. I think that in the town I live in, I think that there was 1 Reform counselor. Was there one? Yeah, but it was voted out. It was voted out. And I'm so glad that Reform has been voted out of the town I live in. And so basically, I just want to cover like my experience of the different political parties. I'm not a political person. This isn't a political channel, not at all. I don't know that much about politics, but my boyfriend is really into politics. He's into politics in the UK, and he's into politics in Scandinavia. And the thing is because he's so into politics, he tells me things. He reads all this political stuff. And so because he tells me things, I'm going to pick a little bit up. So I picked a little bit up. And so basically, you got the Labour Party. I mean, a long time ago, decades ago, the Labour Party represented working class people, and it supported poor people. Well, that's not true anymore. Under the leadership of Keir Starmer, the Labour Party is only interested in people who work. It's not interested in poor people. It's not interested in pensioners. It's not interested in disabled people. It's only interested in working people. And if you look at the videos about Labour Party since it came into power in the UK, when they give their speeches, one of the things that they say is they are here for working people. They make a point of saying they're here for working people. If you're not working, they're not interested in you. So that means poor people, they're not interested in. Disabled people, they're not interested in. Homeless people, they're not interested in. Pensioners, they're not interested in. The only people that the Labour Party now represents is working people. So if you're not working, they're not representing you. And then you had the Conservatives. Well, a long time ago, like Maggie Thatcher was a Conservative. So a long time ago, or the pensioners like the Conservatives, because the Conservatives seem to make some more pensioner-friendly policies. But that's not true anymore. I think in the early 2000s, you had, I think it was Nick Clegg, don't quote me, Nick Clegg and David Cameron, they formed a coalition, and if I got Nick Clegg's name wrong, I'm sorry, but they formed a coalition between the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives. And so basically what they did was they decided that they were going to initiate austerity. So we've been living in austerity since definitely 2008, when they had this loan crisis. They had a loan crisis, and they had run on banks, and they had a loan crisis. And so we've had austerity since the early 2000s, and this was under the leadership of the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives. And David Cameron, if you've watched my previous videos, David Cameron was the one that had me sectioned the first time. But David Cameron had this vision where the government would not be providing any services at all to the people, and charities would come in and take over the work of the government. That was David Cameron's vision, and I did actually do a lot of research on that several years ago before I started studying data science. And that's what David Cameron's vision for the future was. That, we'd still keep paying taxes. We'd still be paying taxes, but our tax money wouldn't be going to help us. And so basically, the government would not provide services to the people. Charities would provide services to the people. That was David Cameron's vision. And it's been a long time since I researched David Cameron, but he's not interested in poor people. And so that was austerity. Austerity was to cut services. And so since the early 2000s, maybe 2008, because I was working in 2008, so it didn't really affect me that much, because I was working at Foster Wheeler, so I had enough money to where I could pay my bills and go on holiday and things like that. Well, I can't do that now. And then so ever since, we'll say around 2008, but ever since austerity, and austerity started with David Cameron. And they just cut services and cut services and cut services. And that's their vision for the future, that we keep paying taxes. We keep giving them all our money in taxes, but they don't provide any services, which is what they're doing now, providing very little. So starting with austerity, they started cutting and cutting and cutting. And basically, they said that they weren't going to give any money to the councils. The councils were going to have to raise their own money. So we keep paying taxes, but we're not getting anything for the taxes that we're paying. And so the councils weren't going to be given any more funding. So basically they had to generate their own income. So councils would do that by increasing council tax. Like in this year alone, even though I'm destitute, my council tax, I think, is £132 a month. I'm getting very little for that. And that's not including all the taxes that I pay on top of council tax. And but yeah, we're not getting any services. So my council tax is £132 a month, even though I'm destitute, living in a tiny little studio apartment. That's how much I have to pay. And my Sikh friend, he lives in a house, and his council tax is £100 more than that, but he's paying that for a house, and I'm paying this for a tiny little flat. It's not, I don't even have a living room. And that's the vision. They just cut and cut and cut and cut. And I remember when I first got sectioned, that was around 2014, 2015, we had this service called Your Way. So people in the mental health community could go to Your Way. Well, that was cut. The budget, there's no more Your Way. I think they used to have a day center, and the people in the mental health community could go to the day center Monday to Friday from 1 to 4. That's cut. There's no more day center. And they even took their premises away from them. They had a premises on Oxford Road, and you could go there every day and sit. They had a pie pool and play games and drink coffee. That's no more. They took their premises away from them, and they gave the premises to a drug and alcohol charity. And the reason why they did that is because the people in the mental health community are vulnerable. They are not likely to go out and commit a crime. So they took the services away from them because they're less likely to go out and commit a crime. But people in the drug and alcohol addiction community are more likely to go out and commit a crime. So they gave Your Way, the premises of Your Way, to this drug and alcohol charity. And then Your Way had another little building that was on Rupert Square. And then they cut services on that too. They had a day center. They cut the day center. There was no more day center. And from what I understand, because since they cut the services, from what I understand, I think on the weekends, they may offer a crisis center in the train station on the weekends. But there are no more services for the mental health community. But if you go to the mall, they have a big poster saying what kind of services they have, but it's just like that. So, and this is what austerity has done. Austerity has cut all the services, and that's what they want. They don't want to provide services to the people. They want charities to provide services to the people. But where are charities going to get this money? Charities have to apply for funding, and then the council will give the charity funding. But the council is not getting money from the government anymore. They have to raise their own money. So they raise their money by increasing council tax, and they buy property. And that's another way that they raise income. And another thing that they can do is they can increase your tax on your earnings if they want to. So it's really nasty what austerity has done. And this was done by the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives. And so then in the last election, everybody was sick of it, because the thing is what the Conservatives wanted to do was to dismantle the health system in the UK. And so basically the health system is in the process of being dismantled. And so even in the health sector, more and more services are being dismantled. So basically, when I first came to this country, they would take care of warts. They don't take care of warts anymore. You have to sort that out yourself. Now, I found out that when I had an accident with my thumb, I found out they don't do nails anymore either. And there's more and more things that the health service are not doing. And that's because the Conservative Party wanted to dismantle the health service. So because the Conservative Party was so bad and so anti-poor people, anti-working class people, people voted the Labour Party in, because they thought, Well, they thought that the Labour Party was going to save the health system. No, the Labour Party is not interested in saving the health system. The Labour Party is continuing to dismantle the health system. And so all these people who voted for Labour, hoping that their meager existence was going to improve, were sadly disappointed. And I voted for Labour. I voted for Labour because I fell into the hype that Labour was going to improve our lives. No, Labour didn't improve our lives. Labour didn't keep any of their promises. And Labour will tell you they're only interested in working people. They will say that. They say that they're only interested in working people. So if you're not working for any reason, they're not interested in you. And so we realized after we voted Labour into the government, we realized the mistake that we had made by voting Labour into the government, because they're still carrying on the policies that the Conservative government started. And so now, and then after Labour was voted in to the government, even though we realized that we had made a mistake, the Reform Party started. The Reform Party is like a hardcore conservatives. You've got the conservatives, and they're bad enough. And the Reform Party is so much worse. The Reform Party wants to take the UK and turn it into a little America. They want to dismantle the health system and make it insurance-based. And so when they dismantle the health system and make it insurance-based, poor people are not going to be able to afford insurance. Poor people can't afford insurance. So it's the people who have money who are going to be able to buy insurance, who are going to be able to get medical treatment. So if you're poor and you haven't got any insurance, then you're not going to get any medical treatment. And that's what the Reform Party wants. They want to dismantle the health system in the UK and make it insurance-based like it is in America. And so if you don't have insurance, you don't get treatment. And I was watching a video about this lady that had breast cancer, and she didn't have any insurance. And she couldn't, the doctor wouldn't even give her an appointment because they said, well, if you don't have insurance, you don't have the ability to pay, so we're not going to treat you. That is the situation that is in America. And I do believe that this lady that had breast cancer, I believe that by the time she found, somebody told her about a charity that she could go to get help. But I think by the time she got help, the cancer had progressed, and I don't think she's around anymore. And that's what the Reform Party wants. The Reform Party wants only the people with money who can afford insurance to get medical treatment. And so basically, they don't want to give benefits. I've heard some people say, who are proponents of the Reform Party, that they only want to give benefits to people who have been living in the UK for 3 generations. So if that's the case, that means I wouldn't be getting any benefits because I've only been living in the UK for 33 years. So that means they wouldn't give me benefits, even though I've been living in the UK for 33 years and working. They wouldn't give me benefits. And Reform Party has a problem with illegal immigrants. And so that's why a lot of people vote for Reform Party, because they need to do something with the immigration policies, need to do something with illegal immigrants. But you know, they're just a bad party. They're evil. They're dark. And they want to turn UK into America. They want it to be an American style system where you don't get medical treatment unless you have insurance. You don't get benefits unless you've been in the UK for 3 generations, unless you're a 3rd generation British person. And they're just bad people. And even my boyfriend, he has a daughter from a previous relationship, and she is educationally subnormal, and she's been a benefit recipient pretty much her whole life. And she voted reform, and she's one of the people that the Reform Party want to do away with. And so basically the Reform Party, it wants to turn the UK into another America, and where it's literally survival of the fittest, that you're only worth anything as long as you're able to work. And if you're not able to work, you're not worth anything. And the way the government is going, they don't even want to pay pensions anymore. People who have worked all their life and paid into the system, they don't want to pay pensions to people anymore either. So that's the way the UK is going. And my boyfriend has his own YouTube channel called Michael Riley, and he talks about it a lot more than I'm able to because he's a lot more knowledgeable. I just know from my personal experience how bad and evil this Reform Party is. And I'm so glad that the people in the town I live in had a little bit of sense and voted the Reform Party out of the town. But we're going to have a general election in 2029, and a lot of people are worried that the Reform Party is going to get in. And I have a friend, my autistic friend, he says that he's going to be maybe 66 in 2029, so he'll have to wait a year to retire. But he's really scared about Reform Party getting in 2029 because they are bad people. They don't care about people. They are psychopaths. They don't like illegal immigrants, which I don't either. But they want to do something about illegal immigrants. They want to not pay benefits to people unless they've been, from what I've heard people say, unless they've actually been in the UK, 3rd generation British. Everybody else doesn't get benefits. They want to dismantle the health system, so you're only going to get medical treatment if you've got insurance. And that's just what I know. Oh, they also want to give tax breaks to the rich. They want to give tax breaks to the millionaires and the billionaires. And that's just what I know. The Reform Party's bad, so don't vote for them. So I guess I'll conclude this video. I've told you everything I know about politics in the UK, which isn't much, but I'm really happy that Reform Party was voted out of the town that I live in. And I just hope that people get a little bit of sense and not vote this party into government, because it's going to have a debilitating effect on pensioners, unemployed people. Oh, another thing that they want to do, I think they only want to pay unemployment insurance for like 3 or 4 months, something like that. So if you haven't got a job in 3 or 4 months, you lose your benefits. That's another thing that I've heard they want to do, is cut job seekers allowance. And so, please don't vote for reform. They're evil. And please don't. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video. I'm not a politically minded person, but the UK government tells me that I have a mental illness, and as a result of that, I have to depend on government support since they're telling me that I'm mentally ill. So I do have an interest in people not voting for reform, because reform wants to make the lives of sick people, poor people, vulnerable people, pensioners, so much worse than they already are. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for taking an interest in my life, as pathetic as it may be.